Most people think hating guests means you're rude, antisocial, maybe even cold. But what if the truth is darker than that? What if the discomfort you feel when someone enters your space is actually your mind trying to protect something fragile? Something you don't even realize is broken. In this video, we're diving deep into the psychology of people who hate having guests. Not the surface-level excuses, but the hidden reasons buried in the subconscious mind. Because this isn't just about disliking people. It's about control, emotional safety, and something much deeper tied to your shadow self. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with something simple, but uncomfortable. You say you don't like guests because they are too much. Too loud. Too messy. Too invasive. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not them. It's what they represent. When someone enters your home, they are entering your controlled world. Your space is predictable. Safe. Yours. Guests disrupt that. And your brain? It reads disruption as threat. Stay with me, because this is where it gets deeper. For many people, the hatred of guests isn't about social energy. It's about control. You see, your environment is one of the few places where you feel fully in charge. Where nothing unexpected happens. But guests bring unpredictability. They sit where you didn't expect. They notice things you hoped they wouldn't. They ask questions you weren't ready for. And suddenly, you're not in control anymore. That discomfort. That tension building inside you. That's your subconscious reacting, and this is where it gets disturbing. Because sometimes, the need for control comes from a past where you had none. Maybe you grew up in chaos. Maybe your boundaries were ignored. Maybe your privacy didn't exist. So now, as an adult, your home becomes your fortress. And guests? They feel like intruders, even if they're not. But there's another layer to this. A darker one. Some people don't hate guests because of control. They hate being seen. Think about it. When someone comes into your space, they see parts of your life you usually hide. Your habits. Your routines. Your imperfections. And your subconscious mind whispers. What if they judge you? So instead of facing that fear, you avoid it. You reject guests altogether. Because it's easier to say, I don't like people, than to admit, I don't want to be exposed. And this is where the shadow self comes in. The part of you that holds your insecurities, your fears, your hidden identity. Guests shine light on that shadow. And not everyone is ready for that. Now here's something even more interesting. Some people who hate guests are actually highly sensitive. They absorb energy. Every conversation drains them. Every interaction lingers in their mind. So when guests come over, it's not just a visit. It's emotional overload. And their brain knows it. So it creates resistance. Annoyance. Irritation. Even anger. Not because they hate people, but because they are trying to protect their mental energy. But here's the twist. Sometimes, this behavior can also turn manipulative. Yes, manipulation. Because avoiding guests can become a way to control relationships. You decide when people can see you. How much access they get. How close they are allowed to come. And without realizing it, you create emotional distance. You keep people at arm's length. Safe, but disconnected. And the scary part? You might convince yourself this is peace. When in reality, it's isolation. Let me give you a simple scenario. Someone invites themselves over. Instantly, you feel irritated. You start thinking. Why didn't they ask properly? What if they stay too long? What if I can't relax? But beneath those thoughts, there's a deeper fear. What if I lose control of my space, and myself? That's the real trigger. And once you understand that, everything changes. Conclusion. So the psychology of people who hate having guests isn't about being rude or antisocial. It's about control, emotional protection, fear of judgment, and sometimes, unresolved experiences hidden in the subconscious mind. Because when someone enters your space, they are not just visiting your home. They are stepping into your inner world. And not everyone is ready to let others see that. Pause. Sometimes the strongest need for privacy comes from the deepest fear of being understood. If this made you see yourself differently, hit like. Comment below, do you actually hate guests, or just what they represent? Subscribe for more deep psychology insights, because not everything is what it seems. And if you want to go deeper, watch the next video on how your shadow self controls your behavior.